Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the TheEdB0ys, and welcome to our RuneScape 2007 Blast Furnace guide. The Blast Furnace is a minigame that smelts bars quicker than a normal furnace and for less coal, so it turns out to be one of the top moneymakers in the game. I have a long script here, everybody, so I might be speaking fast because I don't think this guide really needs to be ridiculously long. If you do need to go back and check a section, that might be a good idea. Let's jump right into it. First things first, let's talk about the requirements and the recommendations. To even get to the Blast Furnace, you're going to need to start the Giant Dwarf quest so that you can have access to Keldagrim. Keldagrim is a cave just east of Relica. If you've already traveled there before, an easy way to get there is the Blast Furnace minigame teleport, or to take the minecart from the Grain Exchange. To use the Blast Furnace, you need 30 smithing, but 60 is recommended because between levels 30 and 60, you need to pay 2.5k every 10 minutes to use the Blast Furnace. You don't really need 30 smithing to use the Blast Furnace, but the lowest bar that you're really going to want to make there is steel bars, which does require 30 smithing. I also suggest having a fairly high agility level, the higher the better, and even graceful clothing if you have it. There's a ton of running involved with the Blast Furnace, so this could help reduce the run energy that you have to use. The ice gloves and the coal bag are also very important items to maximize your bar speed. The ice gloves are dropped by the Ice Queen, which is encountered during the Heroes quest, I believe, and a few other quests, but you don't have to do those quests to get the ice gloves. You can enter White Wolf Mountain and kill her for the gloves at any time. As for the coal bag, this is a reward for Motherlode Mine. While mining in the Motherlode Mine, you can receive gold nuggets, and you can trade in 100 of those gold nuggets for a coal bag. This is not a very quick process by any means, but the coal bag just about doubles your speed at the Blast Furnace, so it is really worth grinding out. Let's move on to how the Blast Furnace runs. To put your ores in the furnace, you got to place them on the conveyor belt. And when somebody with 30 or more agility can then ride the bike that controls the conveyor belt, and as long as the drive belt isn't broken, your ores will slide into the furnace. If the drive belt is broken, someone with 30 plus crafting and a hammer just needs to click on it to fix it. The Blast Furnace will smelt your bars as long as you have the required ores in the furnace and it's hot enough. You can check the heat level of the furnace at the temperature gauge. Clearly, if the needle is in the green, you're at the right amount of heat. To heat up the furnace, it first needs fuel. Someone with 30 fire making can shovel coke into the stove to fuel the furnace. Then, to heat it up, someone with 30 plus strength needs to pump the pump. As long as none of the pipes in the furnace are broken, it'll begin to heat up. If any of the pipes are broken, they can be fixed the same way as the drive belt. If the furnace is too hot, just stop pumping. Once you have enough ores in the furnace and it's hot enough, your bars will smelt right here. They will be too hot though. To cool them down, you just need to use a bucket of water in the dispenser, or you can just grab them if you're wearing ice gloves. Now that you have an understanding of how the furnace runs, you can probably see that it's not really something you want to do by yourself. Although it's completely possible to run the furnace with one person, it's really not optimal. It's kind of a waste of time, let's be honest. There's currently 2 worlds that can help you with this. First is run by only players. It's World 386. This is basically the old 358 where someone is going to try to run the furnace, but overall it's pretty bad. There's also World 358 where there's now a few NPC dwarves that'll help run the furnace for a fee of 60k an hour. I do suggest using World 358. 60k an hour is not much money compared to the money that you can make here, and the dwarves auto-run the bike, the coal, and the pump for everyone in the world. The only thing that we have to check is the drive belt and the pipes, which are instant to fix. To pay the workers, you have to add coins to the coffer, and it will automatically pay 10 coins every tick. Keep that in mind though, because if you step away, be sure to go up the stairs or to log out first so you don't waste any of your money. Also, if you are under 60 smithing, you do need to pay this dwarf foreman 2.5k every 10 minutes, or half that price if you have the Ring of Charos. I don't know if it's pronounced Charos. Now that you're at the furnace and you or other people have it running, your job is just to put in ore and take out bars as fast as you can. Here's the layout of a typical inventory. You want to use the coal bag, guys. It's not necessarily a waste of time to do the blast furnace without a coal bag, but it is as close as it can get. So the coal bag holds up to 27 coal at a time, so you can always take an extra inventory of coal with you to the conveyor belt, basically cutting your time in half. If you do not wear ice gloves, you're going to want a bucket of water to cool down the bars when they're too hot. You could wait for someone else to do this for you, but you can stand around for a long time like that. The hammer is also optional, but when the pipes of the drive belt breaks, you need a hammer to fix it, so having one on you the whole time could potentially save a lot of time and running. If you have both ice gloves and fully graceful, you could potentially carry your ice gloves in your inventory and only put them on to pick up the bars. But with a decent agility level and the rest of the graceful, even though you don't get that boost with full graceful, you should still be fine. If you're making gold bars and you want to use the gold gauntlets too, then you want to wait for the bars to smelt and then only switch to your ice gloves when you go to pick up the bars, immediately switching back to your goldsmith gauntlets. The rest of your inventory spaces, are left open for ores. I'm now going to do one load of 26 addy bars, 25, no, 26. Learn to count, Dak. 26 addy bars to show you what bars look like. I personally don't like doing addy bars. They're usually lower on the list for how much money is made, but it works out perfectly taking 2 trips to make them. I leave no ore in the furnace, and I get my bars. So it's perfect for this example. There's really not that much to it, guys. You take your coal out of the bank, you fill your coal bag, and then you take more coal out of the bank, run over to the conveyor belt, put all those ores in. Go back to the bank, coal bag, get some addy ore this time, and put it on the conveyor belt. Then you take your bars out of your dispenser and you repeat. So that's it, guys. You're just trying to take ores from the bank, put it on the conveyor belt, take bars, put them back in the bank. Very simple. Of course, which ores you take out differ on what kind of bars you make, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Just keep in mind that the blast furnace takes half the coal a normal furnace takes. It's the whole reason why this is a good moneymaker. The order that you take out your ores and put them in the furnace is pretty flexible, as long as you can make sure to always bring coal in your coal bag and don't let the furnace fill with coal, which is 254 coal max. You should be fine. But here are the ways that I do it. Steel bars are very simple. You just need to bring double coal your first time you hit up the furnace, and then every trip after that, bring coal and iron. The reason you want to bring the coal on the first trip is so that there's some coal already in the furnace when you put your iron in. Otherwise, there's a good chance it's going to make some iron bars on you. Myth bars require 2 coal per ore, so you start with a double load of coal again, and then your next 2 loads should be coal and myth. That will empty the furnace and give you 2 loads of bars, so now you just repeat. For addy bars, you already saw my example. Because it requires 3 coal per addy ore, you can take double coal your first time, and then just coal and addy for your second trip. Now the furnace should be empty, and you got 1 load of addy bars. Repeat. Rune can be a little bit more complicated. Rune requires 4 coal per bar, so I like to take my first 4 loads with double coal, leaving enough coal for 2 loads of rune ore. But with the coal bag, you can bring an extra load of coal on each rune load, leaving 1 double coal load in the furnace after you retrieve your rune bars. That means the next 3 loads should be double coal, and then 2 rune ore loads in a row. Like I said, it's very flexible how you bring the ores, so if you lost me there on the rune, that is okay. As long as you never fill up the furnace, meaning that you never have to bring ore back to the bank and you always bring coal in your coal bag, you should have no problem. One last tip when running ores, stamina potions are extremely helpful for keeping your run energy up. They do add to the cost of running bars, but they make up for it in speed, which overall equates to more profit. This is another case where higher agility comes in handy. You could save some money by not having to use as many stamina potions and having a higher agility level. Let's talk about profits a little bit. If you're here for the XP, this section will also help you out. Here's a list of bars you might smith for profit, and at the bottom I will add gold bars for those that are here for XP. You lose money smithing gold to gold bars. You don't want to try to make money that way. These are the average numbers on how many bars you can make per hour. These can be increased by more experienced bar runners, but that's what average means. Keep in mind that these are numbers for if you have a coal bag. If you don't have a coal bag, you could estimate by cutting them in half. I'll show you guys what the prices look like at the moment, but as you know, prices can change, so it would be smart for you to just go ahead and check the prices. In general, rune bars and steel bars are pretty close in profit. I have seen rune bars take in the most profit most of the time, but I have seen steel bars take over that slot occasionally. So I really can't repeat enough. You guys, you should check prices beforehand. Myth bars are always right up there in profit, and they're really reasonable for making cash. Unfortunately, adamant bars tend to be the least profit, but not always. As you can see right here, addy bars are a little bit better than myth, but that's fairly uncommon. Either way, none of these bars really have a bad profit margin other than gold, but as you can see, gold is not meant for making money, it's meant for quick XP. I believe that's everything that I have for you, everybody. If there's anything else you need to know about the blast furnace, be sure to ask away in the comments section so we can get those questions answered. Otherwise, good luck running your bars. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click on that like button and tell us what you enjoyed about it. If you're looking for some more RuneScape videos like this one, then be sure to join the cul-de-sac by subscribing for more. We will see you next time.